Good morning, everyone. Can I begin by acknowledging Fran O'Sullivan and the powerhouse that is the mood of the boardroom? I was a diligent student last night, Fran, and I read it from cover to cover. I even have the highlights to prove it. And can I say, I always read my report cards closely. I've had better ones, and I'm determined that there are better ones ahead. Can I acknowledge my parliamentary colleagues, the Honourable Simeon Brown, the Honourable Erica Stanford, the Honourable Mark Mitchell, Shane Jones, and also my parliamentary colleagues, in particular you, Barbara Edmonds. Business leaders, friends, I share your impatience. New Zealand has been through a very difficult cyclical recovery, and growth has not come soon enough for many. At the same time, we are leaning into major structural challenges, some of which have built up over decades. Geostrategic instability, the need for fiscal repair, difficult and changing demographics, challenges with energy security and affordability, technological change and the rise of AI. It's my view that on these challenges, the government needs to work with pace and commitment, but also care to ensure that we are creating the settings in which you as businesses succeed and make the decision to grow. So in that sense, I was very pleased to read that the people who responded to this survey are expecting in the next 12 months higher levels of investment than the past 12 months, greater revenue and greater profit in the majority of cases. Because ultimately, we as a government are humble in our view that it is your investment decisions, your risk-taking, your hiring that will ultimately drive growth, and our job is to set out the platform on which that can happen. We eat at the same table, and when we succeed, you succeed, and vice versa. When I read what business thinks are the things we should be focused on, they resonate very closely with the growth agenda we have set out. We see 5 key areas where ongoing reform is required. We need to make this a more competitive place to do business. We need to better develop and attract talent. We need to drive more overseas investment and greater trade. We need to make sure that our science, tech and innovation system is working to diversify our economy in the way that has been talked about for so long. And we need a much clearer infrastructure pipeline delivered more efficiently and in more modern ways. So when I go through those themes, I share with you the fact that the government is absolutely listening to the things you've said are important. In our budget, we prioritise the investment boost tax policy because you told us that tax incentives for investment matter. We're focused on red tape reduction and everything from the Health and Safety Act through to the Holiday Act changes you saw yesterday. And perhaps most importantly, Resource Management Act reform. If you read one excerpt in the mood of the boardroom, read the sad tale from Port of Tauranga about their many-year battle to get a consent and the disastrous effect that has for productivity, efficiency, and ultimately the prices that consumers pay. We have put in a fast-track regime. It's delivered 2 projects so far that will inject hundreds of millions of GDP into the economy and create many jobs. More fast-track projects will be signed off soon. Those would not have happened without the Fast Track Act. And ultimately, we will be replacing the Resource Management Act. You've all told us education is vital, so I am delighted to see you celebrate Erica Stanford as I and the Prime Minister do, because that agenda of making sure our kids learn the basics brilliantly, that we have proper vocational pathways in our schools, a national qualification we can be proud of, responsive tertiary institutions, that is critical to our future. And it won't affect the next quarter's GDP result, but it is vital for getting the structural improvement you, like me, want to see. And we're accompanying it with smart, focused immigration and what I would describe, Shane, as a very mature coalition relationship. We are driving overseas investment and trade. The Active Investor Plus visa has been a roaring success, with people around the world endorsing our view that this is a great place to live and to invest money. We've sped up overseas investment applications and are fundamentally reforming the Act. And we're ensuring that we are driving a constellation of trade agreements on the world stage, knowing that we cannot simply rely on the stability of old relationships. We're reshaping the science and tech system, making strategic and transformative investments in geothermal and other areas. And on infrastructure, we have heard you. Longer-term pipelines are needed. We've delivered the first 20-year infrastructure plan for health, a 10-year infrastructure plan for education. We are setting out the Roads of National Significance program in a way that's much clearer than it's ever been. We are adopting modern funding and financing tools, and we are taking a longer view, and we dearly wish that the opposition will continue to want to work with us on that vision. Ultimately, New Zealand remains a great place to live. We can be one of the most nimble trading nations in the world. We have competitive advantages in our primary industries, in tech, that are significant. We have history of success, and I believe our tomorrows are going to be much more successful. We can be a powerhouse in the future. We are right now confronting issues that were not confronted for too long. And I mean decades, not just years. And so I'm afraid, John Key, I'm not letting you off the hook either. This is a difficult time for the country, but the government has your back, because we know that when you see a positive future, that creates jobs and opportunities for New Zealand. So let's get on. I'm not going to overread the Q2 data. Growth is ahead of us. We are driving it, and we will work faster and harder. Your encouragement is really important to the cause. Thank you very much.